They keep telling us Israel just wants peace and security in a dangerous neighborhood. But what if that's only half the story? For decades, a controversial theory has claimed that Israel has a long-term strategic plan to completely reshape the entire Middle East, breaking up neighboring Arab countries into smaller, weaker, ethnically divided states so that Israel can remain the dominant regional power. This is known as the Greater Israel Project, and it's one of the most explosive conspiracy theories in geopolitics today. Let's start with the facts. In February 1982, a man named Oded Yinon, a senior Israeli journalist and former senior official in the Israeli government, published a detailed strategy paper titled A Strategy for Israel in the 1980s. In that paper, Yinon openly argued that Israel's long-term security required the fragmentation and dissolution of all the Arab states surrounding it. He specifically called for breaking Iraq into 3 separate states, Shiite, Sunni, and Kurdish, splitting Syria into ethnic and religious enclaves, weakening Lebanon by dividing it along sectarian lines, destabilizing Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Yinon wrote that the Arab world is a house of cards and that Israel should actively work to make it collapse from within. That document is real. You can still read the full English translation today. Now here's where it gets interesting. Many people point out that events in the Middle East over the last 40-plus years seem to follow this exact blueprint with suspicious precision. 2003, the United States invades Iraq and completely dismantles the country along sectarian lines, exactly as Yinon suggested. 2011 onward, Syria is torn apart by a brutal civil war, splitting into ethnic and religious zones. Lebanon has been kept weak and divided for decades. Gaza and the West Bank remain under heavy pressure. Some theorists argue this isn't random chaos. It's the slow implementation of the Yinon Plan, sometimes referred to as the Greater Israel Strategy, which envisions Israel eventually expanding its influence or territory from the Nile River in Egypt all the way to the Euphrates River in Iraq. That concept comes from certain interpretations of the Bible, but critics say it's being pursued through modern geopolitical strategy rather than open conquest. Of course, the Israeli government and most mainstream analysts completely reject this theory. They say the Yinon paper was just one man's opinion from 40 years ago and has no official connection to Israeli policy. They argue that Israel's actions are purely defensive, responding to threats from Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, and other groups. But the theory refuses to die because the pattern keeps repeating. Every time a major Arab state gets destabilized, Israel ends up stronger and more secure, while its neighbors become fractured and easier to manage. So the big question is there really a long-term Israeli strategy to balkanize the Middle East into smaller, weaker states, exactly as Oded Yinon laid out in 1982? Or are we just seeing normal, chaotic geopolitics and connecting dots that aren't really there? The answer to that question changes how you view everything happening in the region right now. Drop your hottest take in the comments. Do you believe the Greater Israel Yinon Plan is real, or is this just another conspiracy theory? If you want more deep dives into hidden geopolitical strategies and forbidden history, smash like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.